Gather around, Skull Brothers and Sisters. This is Skull World Live, and I got Johnny NFL in the backyard. How's it? How's it back there? I don't know. So
Good in the shade.
I saw a black cat walk by, so I'm not sure if you're okay there. Anyways, man, you watched last night's game. Let's get your thoughts. Like, you just told me a little bit ago that you told a Seattle friend of yours that you're a Seahawks fan friend of yours that, hey, we won the first half. Kind of tell me what your thought process is about, making a comment like that.
Yeah, shout out to my buddy Green80 on Twitter and YouTube. But yeah, man, it was I mean, you walk away from the game and you're like, man, that defense looked rough. There's a lot of things, but if you just kind of zero in on the execution of the first and second team, I mean, I think it was it 13? It was 10-3. We went up 13-10.
Yeah.
But I mean, we were pretty well in control of the game. It felt like anyway early on. I mean, their big play early on was that weird muffed punt jump ball situation. That was extremely fluky. And I liked what I saw from the offense for the most part. I think Kevin O'Connell came out with a pretty strong game plan, something that they were able to execute. Mullins was shaking in his boots a little bit at times for sure, but I thought the for the most part early on, the protection was decent. And overall, I liked what I saw from guys like Jordan Addison, particularly on the offense. I think Ty Chandler was great when he was in. And so, yeah, I think there's a lot to be encouraged about before you start digging into the depth, because it was the back half of that game where I think their young guys thoroughly outperformed ours. And, take that for what it's worth of the preseason game one. But some of the things you can actually project with, I was pretty happy with. Obviously, we didn't have the full starting unit on either side necessarily, but for the most part, the guys who will actually see the field in the regular season, I thought looked pretty good, as kind of my macro takeaway.
Quick shout out to JJ Vikings. We're gonna meet him. Rap and others are sending him to Minneapolis to watch his first Vikings game. I can't wait to meet you, man.
Oh yeah, let's go.
I'm gonna actually email you, man. Rap gave me an email address. I'm gonna ask you if you can come on next week to one of our live shows. So I appreciate you checking in on this impromptu video.
Yes, sir.
And there we go, JJ. Hey, you're buttering me up a little bit here. That's good. All right. Hey, JJ, tell us what you thought of the game in the comments, man. Feel free to chime in anytime you want during the comments. Let us know what you think about what we're talking about, and make sure you hit like. Hell yeah, we'll bring you on next week. I'll email you either today or tomorrow. Okay. All right. Hey, so that being said, and you mentioned Jaren Hall. What game this year will Jaren Hall take over for Kirk Cousins? No.
Oh God.
I've been waiting to say that.
Week 18 when nothing matters for us.
18. After both of our two quarterbacks are gone. In all seriousness, Nick Mullins is our backup quarterback. I think we've established that. I would think right now, I don't feel like I even want to see Jaren Hall switch with him. You know what I'm saying? If he does play like more in a game, I want him to maybe the third game and Nick Mullins a couple of 2 or 3 series, and then Jaren Hall plays the rest of the game. I don't know. Do we even have a fourth quarterback? I don't think we do we? So they may have to split the house.
There's that kid. What the hell's his name? I mean, he'll be a practice squad guy. I don't even know if he'll see preseason time. I can't remember his name. I think we do. that kid from.
Yeah, I got a ESPN depth chart here, and it doesn't have anybody. I couldn't remember if we picked somebody up or not.
He
Hey,
might already be gone. It was a weird thing. We signed him a month ago or something.
Jordan Addison's the game longer than expected. I agree, man. I was actually happy to, because I wanted to see, I want to see him play a little bit. I was impressed with that. He says N'Keal Harry was starting to ease into the good plays. There was when he the first time I noticed him, um, the quarterback had to tell him where to go and where to stand. So I was like, he's a little new, but Jaron Hall threw a nice, and it was a superpower in college, was throwing back shoulder fades.
Oh God, yeah.
And that was a superpower in college. And the superpower for N'Keal Harry is that he can get jump balls. He can body people. He plays like a big rebounder. He's the Dennis Rodman type player in the NFL. He just can't get separation. And I noticed kind of why he has a false step. I think when he takes off on the line, I seen a couple on that play. There was a false step, there was a hesitation. So I can see why he doesn't get a whole lot of separation. But his two superpowers collided. Two superpowers collided. Back shoulder fade, and a guy who can catch him. So that was pretty cool. I like that.
Yeah.
Nick Mullins had great decision making. He looked a little antsy early in the pocket, but I think he kind of leveled off a little bit. And hey, Tag Will, what's up, man? Glad to have you back on the show.
What's up, brother?
They need to sign Dalton Reisner. Here's what I want to bring up. This is a transition for me. After watching Ed Ingram play, bear with me here. Ed Ingram, I was about to tweet, hey, he's looking good, because he stonewalled two guys and two back-to-back plays. And I was like, damn, he looked really good. And then right as I was about to tweet it, he literally I saw a guy cross his face, him completely let him go straight to the quarterback, and he blocked nobody. Like, he didn't even see the guy running right across his face. And I immediately started backspacing. And I'm like, ooh. And then I saw a couple more plays. There was one where he fell down on his knees, and I'm a little worried about Ed Ingram now. And I've been kind of a defender for him, but after doing that, after like going, this is a pretty iffy game for you, Ingram, I then paid more attention to Brandel playing left guard. And I was completely impressed with that. I don't know if you got a chance to see it or paid attention to him, but the things that Ingram was bad at, which is recognizing people crossing his face, he is blocking a guy and then quickly goes to block to the guy that's coming through the hole. He did that consistent. Yeah, he was looking for it. He was prepared for it. He was anticipating it. And I thought we may have solved a problem from within, moving him from left tackle to left guard. Put him see if he can play right guard or left guard. I don't care. I like him, and I'm glad they had the foresight to make a decision to move him from tackle.
Yeah, and Brandel's a guy too who's seen snaps at the NFL level, and I mean he's filled in for some injuries at tackle, and gotten plenty of starts. I mean, you don't expect him to excel in those particular instances, but he wasn't as much of a liability as some guys can be. And I think that is a big thing too. Like, Ingram, when they run these stunts and things, like that was the big thing. They weren't passing things off very well between the interior of the offensive line. And he struggled to recognize those things, the loopers who would come back and get across his face. And Brandel's a guy who too, I think, might even be just a little bit hungrier at this point in his career. Might be looking for work, might be just out there ready to hit somebody, and Ingram might be playing a little bit more not to lose his job at this point, which can be a slippery slope. But I really like
just understanding. My only thought is Ingram's probably thinking he's giving it up to somebody, and nobody's there, right?
Yeah.
I'm like, no, man, you take him because that was the quickest way to the quarterback. I'm like, I mean, I remember being in a punt team, and I was there was a guy on the outside of me, and he's supposed to make sure nobody goes inside. And like 2 times in a row, he freaking goes outside, lets the guy come in and block. We got 2 punts blocked right in a row because he didn't do his job. And that's why I looked at Ed Ingram here. I don't know why Zone's so laughing and happy about it. I'm actually crying tears of knowing that we have a second round pick that's not doing his job out there. I know you're kidding, man, but yeah, but hey, I know JJ said, I noticed Cruz Tonga forced the QB pressure in the first quarter and Ty Chandler showed glimpses in the game. I think Ty maybe showed a little more than glimpses. I liked it. I liked it a lot, man. What did you do? What did you think about it?
Yeah, Ty Chandler looked really good. I mean, I'm sure we'll get to him at least a little bit, and we'll see more throughout the preseason. But I think he thoroughly outshone a guy like Dwayne McBride.
Yeah, Smith looked okay.
Who I was, of course, really high on coming out. Smith looked okay, but Ty Chandler, I think, really sort of solidified himself as that RB2 going into the season, and it should be really his job to lose. I think he's shown a lot. And I mean, last preseason, Ty Chandler had the highest broken tackle rate of any player in the league throughout the snaps he got in preseason. And I think we're seeing some more of that. Might not have been too much of a fluke in that department. And I liked Tonga as well. I think Tonga is going to be really, really just solid.
Yep.
Just a starter to where he's not going to be a weakness of that defense. And yeah, any sort of interior pressure we generate with any of those guys is found money at this point.
You got a PSA here. Don't drink soda in your backyard. You might attract bees. By JJ.
That's a good call.
McBride didn't look good, and yeah, I like Smith. Now, to give a little credit to McBride, definitely he's not a kickoff returner. I don't know what the thought was there. I don't know what they saw in him that said, "Hey, let's make this guy a kick returner." I honestly thought they were going to be trying out Ty Chandler at that because he did return kicks in college, or a Powell. I wasn't sure. I don't know who got all the kick returns, but I missed the first kickoff return because of we had that problem in the NFL Plus. But McBride, most of his carries were after a lot of the first and second team guys got taken. There was really only one first team guy, and he left, and that was Ed Ingram. But the other guys, he never really got to play behind a decent line because that line was awful. The second, most of the second half.
Yep.
So let's give him a chance to show in. And he's not. I don't even know if he's 21 yet, and we'll see.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. But that's the thing. We got to decide. Are we going to keep last year we kept 5 running backs. Yeah, I think so. Yeah, we kept 5 running backs and 5 receivers. I'm leaning towards, hey, maybe McBride does not make the team. Hopefully everybody thinks he's crappy too and don't steal him off our practice squad. I don't know if that's going to happen. And then maybe we keep a Rager and a Powell, or a Rager and a because Rager looked good. Let's transition to that. What did you think of Rager?
Rager was he was my biggest pleasant surprise. I think everybody else who excelled, I think I sort of expected to do so, but Jalen Rager looked really good just as a pass catcher. In that game, he was getting separation. I mean, you didn't see any of the just kind of mistakes that we saw last year from him. You didn't see Kevin O'Connell jumping up and down, just waiting for him to get back to the sideline like those couple of picks in the Colts game. But I don't know. It's something we'll have to see a little bit more of for sure. But yeah, now that you say that, because that's what you do kind of have to weigh. I think that's going to be the trade-off. Are you keeping those 5 backs? Because C.J. Ham, Alex Madison, Ty Chandler are on the team. You probably want Kenny Nwangu on the team. He's one of the better kick returners in the entire league. So you're probably choosing.
I almost don't even want to kick return anymore after watching yesterday.
Yeah.
We kick
But
return and then we have a
come
penalty.
down.
We kick return
It'll
and we have a
come down
penalty.
to we muff a punt. Um, but it'll come down to McBride or a guy like N'Keal Harry, maybe, because it is probably going to be Jefferson, Osborne, Addison, Naylor, Rager, probably that fifth guy. And then it's going to be Harry, Powell, McBride, probably all fighting for that 11th or that 10th skill position spot on the offensive side. So that'll be really interesting, and it'll show us, I think, a lot about what they're valuing going forward, and maybe some of the personnel they're going to lean towards, as far as how heavy they're going to go, how often they're going to mix in other running backs alongside Madison, and how often they're going to be in 11 with three guys running on the outside. And if they feel like they have any use for a guy like a N'Keal Harry, because he is that archetype of receiver that we don't really have, especially in that starting trio. And you can even add Naylor to that group. We've got a lot of just kind of medium to small size receivers. We don't have, not that Justin Jefferson isn't a contested catch animal, not that he's not gonna win jump balls, but just that sort of archetype of receiver is something that might be interesting to get into the mix if N'Keal Harry continues to show some competency in that department. Like you said, it might be a false step thing. He might just not have the acceleration to have crazy release packages like a guy like Justin Jefferson. He might just need to go and try to create separation that way. But that'll be really interesting to see how that plays out, because early on, I was of the school of thought that was, we'll probably see the same thing as last year. We'll probably see 5 backs and 5 receivers. I really like McBride. The back end of this receiving core, not huge on some cast-offs, but we might see some things we like from some of those receivers a little deeper on the depth chart. And you're going to be weighing that against how much you want to roster a guy like Dwayne McBride, or maybe it's even a Kenny Nwangwu who is in that realm, sort of on the bubble, which I wouldn't be too unhappy with, as long as you have an answer at kick returner, whether that's Rager, Powell, Chandler, whomever.
Yeah, more like we need a punt returner because the rules are kind of so similar.
Right.
A lot of people are really dogging on Andrew Booth Jr. Up until that touchdown, I don't remember him playing bad, right? So I don't think they win his way very often. The early on in him playing, I saw him stand up a blocker and dive to trip a guy, and everybody else cleaned it up. I saw a couple good plays there, but then he looked awful on a man-to-man. That's one of those things, like, the more experience you have, you won't bite on something and get burnt like that, but it's going to make him look bad. It's obviously a bad play. People are going to lose faith in them, and I do not blame them because of his injury history. He gets on the field, he gives up a touchdown and looks bad doing it. But I'm gonna hold off throwing him out with the bathwater just yet. But I think it's commented here as JoJo1 CB2. I think it's Evans, I think it's Murphy, and then I think it's Blackman right now as nickel. But JoJo1 was in that mix. He's definitely gonna. I think he makes the team, and he played pretty well in that game.
I love his length on the outside. Just a really good guy to have in your back pocket. I could see him winning the second boundary spot, frankly. I think there's a chance we could see Murphy in the slot when we go to nickel, and maybe it's Evans and JoJo1 on the outside, and maybe Flores likes that size there. Mekhi Blackman, though, I think he could go inside, outside.
Yeah, I agree.
At the college level, I saw a stat today.
That's where he played in this. That's where he played in the preseason, was on the outside, right?
Yep. At the college level, he was the only cornerback in this class to rank top 5 in coverage grade per PFF, both in the slot and on the boundary. So he's definitely got that flexibility. And I could see he and Byron Murphy being pretty interchangeable in that regard, where they can both play outside, they can both play inside. I think you like Evans and Joe Juan on the boundary, and you kind of see where things fall from there. But bringing it back to Booth a little bit, I think we saw exactly what we like about Booth last night, and we saw exactly what we don't like about Andrew Booth
Right.
last night. We saw that aggressiveness, that feistiness, just that willingness to engage contact. He doesn't shy away from any of that. But on the other hand of that, I could beat Andrew Booth on a double move. He'd probably bite on my double move. That's just
He wouldn't bite on mine. It might be a little quicker than me. But if I was like 10 years younger, or 35 years younger. A couple shout outs. Tag Will, thank you for telling me that you're super well. I gotta know everybody's persona. I'm bad with it. Thanks, Scoldger Soup, for showing up.
Gary.
Yeah, some people saying hi to each other. Yeah, Gary, what's up, man?
What up, Gary?
People got to know that Mekhi Blackman gave up a touchdown too. Any had a penalty. Why he did it?
That was really, really tight coverage, though. He was right there. But
if he drops the ball, it was still a penalty, right? I don't know. So hey, no, I had a hot take that Mekhi Blackman would win cornerback job, and he's on pace to do it. He has a shot. And since I'm talking about pace, my biggest smile came from seeing how Pace had the green dot on his helmet. He was directing traffic, and he was not out of position at any time, except for on maybe one play where he kind of sucked up on the fake, the run fake, and they threw it, and he quickly adjusted and started sprinting back, and the guy ran across. Lewis Seen trailing. He got the long reception. Seen makes a tackle. Pace probably should have been, he bit on the play fake. That was probably the only chink in his armor the whole game. Other than that, he played tremendous, I thought.
Everybody drink your Kool-Aid. It is Ivan Pace propaganda season.
Yes.
And he was everything we kind of hoped for as well. Obviously, it's who you're playing against. We want to see him do that with the ones in the regular season, of course. But the way a guy like his size, the ferocity with which he plays is unbelievable. The way he stacks guards at the line of scrimmage blows me away every time. He's got that low center of gravity, but pulling guards who are just trying to get to the next level on a zone blocking scheme, he blows them up. There were times he wasn't even getting the tackle. He was just blowing up that guard so somebody could fill the run fit. There were times, I think you mentioned even that play where he got sucked in a little bit, but man, he was out to the short flat in about 2 seconds.
There was one play where he recognized where the running back was going. The blocker came, and I'm not talking about the one where he blew up the guard and tripped the guy. There's another play where he literally just ran into a brick wall, but he hit the outside shoulder and was able to still fall down to the left and trip the guy's legs up, and the guy basically fell over him for the tackle. But he gave up his body, and he did it in the right way. Troy Dye would have been buried on the ground or sucked inside on that play in preseason last year, but Pace recognized the play, attacked it right in the outside leverage, got hit, and he was going down, but still was able to twist his body and try to grab the guy's legs. And that was one of those things that's the little things that are going to make him really good, I think.
Yeah, Troy Dye, God love him. I don't want to see him on the team this year. I don't want that to be an option necessarily. There was the wheel route he got burnt on. Was just
the fullback
was just deja vu. Exactly.
Yeah, it was a fullback.
He took a poor angle to the flat and got burnt up the sideline on a fullback wheel. And I mean, it was just all I could see was Tony Pollard just scorching Jordan Hicks up the sideline, and I was like, "Oh God, we're making this same wrong read." And I don't know, like, sure, yeah, maybe he's the fourth linebacker, but at this juncture,
And then there's Reader. I wasn't too impressed with Reader either.
wasn't,
He
and
looked
that's
kind
the
of
thing.
he looked
That fourth
slow. I think maybe he's lost a step.
Yeah, that fourth linebacker spot is going to be an area of concern. Not that they'll see the field a ton. It's probably going to be special teams value, frankly.
And that's where Troy Dye has kind of made his hay. Who is 27? That is Kalen Barnes falling on his ass.
Kalen Barnes.
All 75 in the Cowboy in the NFC title game. Yeah, that wasn't so good.
Or the not Swan Pearson. You know, Kalen Barnes, I could see making team, but it's tough. I mean, he ran a 4.2 340. You can't teach that. It'd be nice if we could refine him technically a little bit. And I don't even know how bad that rep was. Like, there might have been a tug on there. He might have gotten pulled a little bit by the receiver and then sort of flailed. But that was a rough play to watch. That looked like the 03 Vikings secondary trying to tackle somebody.
He just threw it up in the air. And
yeah.
What's up, Rap? Yeah, we're all on I think everybody's on the pace train now, and you were the engineer. You're the guy. Woo woo! Pace train. That's you. Skulger Soup. There's some talk here about Scene being a bust, and I'm like, I don't see that. He covered a lot of ground and gave up his body on some plays, and I'm liking that. But I think all the safeties played like that, though.
Yeah, Charbonnet laid him out, and a lot of people really didn't like that because he's got that stacking bodies reputation. But listen, man, I mean, you're going to lose at the point of contact sometimes. Zach Charbonnet,
he's not a big guy either. Scene's not a big guy.
No, and I mean, he could have gotten lower, yeah. But he chopped his feet, was in position to make the play, and just got laid out. Like,
Harrison Smith had that problem too. He was a little bit of a headhunter early on in his career. And Lewis Scene, that first play of the game was, going after the guys. He was going high on the guy, and he flipped over him. First tackle of the game. I think Scene is okay. I think he's going to be okay. But that would be terrible to have Lewis Scene, Andrew Booth Jr., and Ed Ingram. That's our top 3 draft picks for 2021. That's not going to be good on his resume. So at least somebody out of that group stand up and show us what you got.
Yeah. Jurassic Pace.
I don't know if that's going to catch on, but hey, what's up, Norpheus? Jurassic Pace. Jurassic Pace. I'm trying to think of why is that not sticking with me? I don't know. I'm not sure. You're going to have to
Park Jurassic Pace.
Yeah, I'll have to figure that one out. You make Purple Gang. This is us to hang on in our skull caves. All right.
Pace of Spades.
Yeah, we're gonna have to come up with nicknames. Agent Zero would have been good if he was able to get the 0. I don't think we're gonna call Marcus Davenport Agent Zero.
No, we'll have to see something from him.
Man, I trying to siphon through all these people saying hi to each other.
Good community.
A Purple Pocket Podcast. I'm talking about Reader making our 4th linebacker job, and he thinks I'm his agent now. No, I'm realistic, man. I don't sit there and talk about a certain cornerback that's not on our team saying, "Hey, he's my guy all season." As now he's not even on the team anymore. So it's hey, Reader was a starter for the Rams and played in the Super Bowl, had 90 tackles that season. Hey, not bad guy to bring in to be your fourth linebacker. But honestly, when I saw him play, he wasn't playing fast. He wasn't playing fast yesterday. And honestly, I may want Troy Dye over him. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, I think you get the actual value on the defensive side with Reader. Like
What is this?
if
I
you're
thought
worried,
Reader was gonna start. I don't know, man. It pisses me off. I'm coming for you Tuesday, man. I'm coming for you Tuesday.
if you if you're worried about an injury to that linebacking core, maybe you roster Reader. But if it's the fourth spot and you're rolling out Pace, Asamoah, and Hicks, it's just, what do you value more at that point with that fourth spot? Is it the special teams that Troy Dye's been so consistent with, or is it that on the defensive side of the ball where you might want to roster Reader? But that'll be an interesting battle, quote unquote. I don't know. I liked. Who else I liked is that. What the hell's his name?
Asamoah played, right? Yeah, I saw him out there.
Yeah. Luigi Villain.
Yeah,
We got to talk about
that's
him a little bit.
that's a good one. Hey, just guys, Asamoah is. I don't even think he's on the as a stat. Yeah, I don't think he has a tackle, and no one's calling him a bust. So give some guys some chances here. But you can make a good point about Luigi Villain, and he looked great. He's bigger than I thought he was,
I thought he was
aggressive.
Yeah. He looked good, and that might be our fifth edge, and maybe they roster five, because I think it's pretty chalk when you talk about Hunter, Davenport, Wanham, and Patrick Jones. But if they roster a fifth edge, and Villain's a guy who's a little more versatile as well. I really liked what I saw from him. He was playing hard. He was playing with his pants on fire. And honestly, like, again, we have to drop the caveat. He's beaten second, third teamers, but he was generating pressure. He was very consistent. He was flying all over the field. And he's the only other guy who jumped out at me on the edge throughout the whole game. So we'll see if that maintains it all. But
I agree there, man. We're fully
Villain
on board on that one. He stood out to me. Apparently it's because Pace has got short arms. So let's go with Paceosaurus or Tyrannosaurus Pace or Pace Rex. There we go. I wasn't getting the Jurassic Pace thing, but I see what you're saying now. He does look kind of stubby out there, but honestly, not as small as I thought he'd be. Honestly, he looked very capable. I really was impressed when I saw a close up. There's right when I saw him, he's like, oh, he's in the middle. What the hell? And he's like telling people where to go, and then he makes a play, and I'm looking for a close up, and there it is, the green dot, and I was like, holy crap! Kendrick's only had that for 1 year of his career.
Yeah, well, you forget his pedigree's kind of marred by being undrafted. You forget he was the captain of a defense that went to the college football playoff.
Unanimous All-American, man. Unanimous All-American.
Mm-hmm.
But there's somebody out there that thinks he's lazy, and we're not going to talk about him. And we're not going to talk about him. East Coast Gridiron. No, we're not going to talk about that. Nervous but not excited. Pace really is it's like you can tell a guy. You can tell. Like, to me, Ty Chandler, I could tell. Mm-hmm. And I could, and for me, Ivan Pace Jr., I can tell. Addison, he's going to be good. Right? You can tell.
These are football players, man. They just got it. They know he looked comfortable out there, especially for having that green dot so early. So I love that they put him in that role. I loved what I saw from him.
Yeah, and think about it. We have a guy can do it if he's not going to be the starter. If someone goes down, he can do it. But honestly, I'm wanting him to be the starter now, just because he's standing out so much to me, and he doesn't look like he's going to be that bad in coverage like people thought he'd be. I don't think he just needs some practice on being able to read and react to things like that, and not be the pass rusher all the time. Mm-hmm. But honestly,
Well,
that
thing,
and
like,
people are still trying, and all these guys, including Reeder, including Villain, including all these guys that are in there, Boo Jr., all these guys that maybe Villain didn't struggle, but these other guys that look Barnes, that struggled. This is their first time playing this defense. So
yes.
hopefully, and they didn't have it, some of these guys didn't have any experience last year of playing at all. That here's their opportunity. Give them some time here. At worst case scenario, we got a decent backup, I think, in Booth, and hopefully, and hopefully somebody else steps up and Blackman's the real deal and the truth. And and then these guys could be decent backups and don't have to play in spurts rather than starting and playing the whole game. But that's not what you want out of a first round or a second round draft pick. But hey, it happens. It happens.
Yeah, and you got to take like when you worry about maybe some of the coverage concerns with Pace, you've got to take that out of the context of last year's defense. Because you drop him into last year's defense, put him in the Kendricks role, 2022. Yeah, it might look a little rough. But this year, the way he'll be deployed by Flores, he'll be able to work downhill, and we saw some of that recovery speed back into coverage. Once he makes that binary read at the line of scrimmage, he sees the play fake, and he recovered really well. He's got great recovery speed, and I think his head's on a swivel. He has great reaction time. Where the size will come into play in coverage is probably if he has to man up a tight end, carry a tight end up the seam, you might be able to get a ball over him. But I think he'll bring very reciprocal value as a pass rusher and moving downhill in the run game that frankly we didn't get from Eric Kendricks last year. So I think he's a great fit more than anything with Ivan Pace. I think he's just going to be a perfect fit for the defense.
Yeah, and that's why I think Harrison Smith's a good fit for this defense. And a hot take, I was going to say he's going to have 5 sacks, which there'll be 2 more in his record in the season. Cool. I just feel like that guys that will fit, they'll find places for Luigi Villain. Did I say it right? And they'll find a place, Daniil Hunter will be, his hand in the dirt. Davenport just needs to stay healthy, and he's going to be a good fit on this team, I think. My worry still is that interior D line and those guys that are going to go in there. I don't think there's enough there, right? Definitely backups is an issue there. Their starters may contribute a lot better. I do like I forget what the guy Dean Lowry. Is it Dean Lowry? I'm looking forward to seeing him play. I think he's legit. He's going to start. I think he can push a pocket. He just doesn't have multiple pass rush moves. He's got a bull rush, and that's it. But hey, we didn't push the pocket too much last year, so I'm pretty happy that we got a guy that can do it.
Yeah, not a huge sack guy, but 9.6.
Stay safe, Gary.
Last year.
Stay safe, Gary.
Yeah, Gary, where are you at? I'm looking at some dark clouds over here in St. Paul.
Oh, yeah,
same thing.
He's dodging. He's dodging bees, black cats, and tornadoes in his backyard today.
Yep.
I'm in Coon Rapids. He says.
Coon Rapids.
From. Oh, thoughts on the Flores D. So yeah, we've been praising it all. I was praising it when I first saw it. First couple of drives on defense, I was like, "This is not the same D, man." You tell me what you think. Yeah, I know you said it already a little bit, but what did you notice that was so different?
Yeah, it was a much better vibe. It was I mean, we knew this coming in, but it was less predictable. You're making guys think on the offensive line. You're making guys think at quarterback. One of the drawbacks is it did put a guy like Andrew Booth on an island. You hit Andrew Booth with a little sluggo, and he's chop suey. But I think that some of the personnel we brought in as well is going to be very complimentary to the way he runs his defense. We just talked about how great of a fit Ivan Pace will be. I think it's going to help sort of stabilize even the play of Jordan Hicks. I think Jordan Hicks will be playing a little bit more downhill. Maybe he's a first and second down
true.
guy.
There's a play at the beginning of the year where he folded. Nobody came out of the backfield, so he knew he could attack, and he beeline for Aaron Rodgers and folded him in half and caused a fumble to start the game. That's the kind of play that I want to see him doing. That's what he's built for.
Yep, strong run stopper, and I think he'll be deployed that way. It's going to be great for guys like Lewis Seen and Harrison Smith. I think they'll get opportunities to rush the passer, and just play downhill. It really just feels like with all these players and all of the skill sets on this defense that the leash will be loosened for everybody. They won't be shackled by just having to think so much. Just because, I mean, when you're sitting in as many like quarter, half looks as we were, you're 7 yards off the line of scrimmage as a cornerback. You really just kind of neutralize any type of like bump and run skill set that might have worked very well for a guy like a Caleb Evans, for a guy like, I mean, Patrick Peterson benefited from being off in zone because he's just such a smart player and has probably lost a step athletically. But I think you'll really be able to kind of unleash a lot of what these guys do best. And Flores has spoken to that as well. He's going to put guys in positions to succeed and do what they do best. And I think that's the best thing we can really ask for, because it's not a particularly talented group just in the context of the rest of the NFL. It's really not. But I think it'll be one that's maximized. And that's all you can really ask for from a defensive coordinator. So I'm still super high on it. I wrote a couple of articles waxing poetic about the Donatel defense last August, but I'm not going to let that deter.
Did you delete that?
Enthusiasm. No, they're still out there in the cyberverse. You can find them, I'm sure. But don't look too hard. But I'm not going to let that curb my enthusiasm for this season. I think Flores is going to be the real deal, and I think it's going to be the best thing for that unit.
Well, at least you don't have out there that you did a video on we should draft Jalen Reagor and realistic Randy and Andy for Purple for the win. But hey, they owned up to it too. So
yeah,
and yeah, I mean, the way they were talking, and the coaches were talking, oh, we're excited to go against this Donatel defense. Yeah, we didn't have a pass rush, and that's what only way his defense works, and we didn't have it.
Yep, it was rough.
We got San Diego, and we got Elk River, which I understand are sister cities. They share a common, I don't know, I'm throwing that out there, but hey, San Diego, got Elk River. Hey, make sure you hit like on the video so it gets pushed out. I appreciate it. We're at 45 minutes. Are you got to go, man? Or
yeah, they'll probably be waking up any minute here. I just I did a strategic nap time today. I made it a little bit later in the day so we could holler at you guys a little bit.
So his kiddos are about to wake up, and so we're gonna let him go. So yeah, feel free to drop off, man. I appreciate it, man. Thanks for coming on. We'll talk about it next week sometime. See where I can talk you into coming on one of our shows or whatever, man. Appreciate you showing up.
I'll float around. Just let me know, and I'm sure I can find a one day or another that works. Always a blast.
Cool, man. Later.
Skol, boys.
All right, that's Johnny Football. I'm gonna hang on for a few more minutes here to give like my personal thoughts. I'm not throwing babies out with the bathwater in some of our players. There's still talent to be tapped into on some of the guys. I know people are going to be are dogging on Lewis Seen and Andrew Jr. I'm a little Pollyanna and don't want to bash a player, but I can see where you guys are coming from. You got to play consistent the whole game. We had 3 cornerbacks give up 3 touchdowns. Blackman probably didn't look as bad doing it as Barnes and Boo Jr. I thought Ward had a great play and actually hit harder than Lewis Seen when he did it. But all the guys, Pace, and the linebackers and safeties seem to come from covered a lot of ground, even die once, covered a lot of ground and played fast. So I like to see that. We knew that this defense would give up big plays because it's going to be aggressive. The hope is that it would cause turnovers, and we did see that. We did get one turnover on a deflected pass. One of the guys that's not playing that's very good at that is Dean Lowry. If you go look at his highlight reel from like 2 years ago, he knocked down passes like crazy. He's really good at it, like Brian Robeson was. There's going to be, guys that can get a pass rush like that or get a bull rush like that, move the pocket and time the jump to knock down those passes, get their hands up. Hopefully that's being taught. Some guys are just good at it, like Lowry is. You check it out. I think our defense is going to be okay. To be okay in my worry. I think our defense going to be okay in my worries. Kind of refried. Oh, is the O line okay? The O line. So yeah, it's definitely our interior, but if we get a Reisner and I'm not lying, man, I'm gonna go back and I'm gonna watch every play of Brandel and see if we got a solution in on the inside and we don't have to go out and get somebody. But if Brandel, and this might be one of those things where someone goes down and someone's able to step up like a Brandel. Not that I wish an injury on anybody, but I felt good that I saw a Brandel in there. I saw some good things that, again, I'm going to go look at that left side of the line. I was trying to pay attention so much to Ed Ingram, and like most of you, I was not impressed. I was impressed for a few plays, and then his just situational awareness is not there. He does not recognize or react to change. It has to be straight up, and I don't know if they can teach that to him or if he can figure it out before the season. So I am worried about that. But I think who we had playing at left tackle was doing a decent job. I want to go back and look at that. I wasn't impressed with Oliudo run blocking at all. I was not impressed with that. I'm gonna go back and look and see if I was wrong with that. But definitely, we're not going to have to worry about our left tackle or our right tackle in the regular season. We'll see what Cleveland's like. We'll see. That is still a worry, obviously, and we're not going to know until the season starts because these guys aren't going to get any playing time. If at most like 2 series is the time of these starters playing a half of football are completely gone now. I think we're going back to the playoffs. Super Bowl. I agree, man. I got us going 12-5. I said 12-5 last year. I was wrong. We went 13-4. But this time it's because I know our defense is going to be better. This is what I expect our defense, what I hoped or expected our defense to be like last year. Now that we got the new coach and it's attacking, and this is what I'd like to see. And I think that's going to be the big difference. We're going to be a better team. We may not, and who knows, maybe we win 11 games, but even if we win 11 or 10 games, I think we got a better team if everybody stays healthy. I don't like the fact, going to our second or third string quarterback, I'm not too, I'm worried about, but it is nice receiver wise. If Justin Jefferson has to rest a game, that we got a Jordan Addison. And then Rager has stepped up in this preseason. He was open a lot. He got open. He made himself open, and he caught the ball with his hands. So maybe it was Rager just needing to get a little more comfortable with the ball. I don't know if you're saying that to me, but I appreciate it. Yeah, Reisner would makes sense if we can get him cheap. I think he's probably holding out for a starting job or more money. Um, I agree. It would be a great move in the zone, man. It would be a great move. Yeah, interior line. Definitely still worry. I have to show you my new jersey. Yeah, sure, man. I got one too. I wanted all the smoke, and I got a cousin's jersey just to put, and just so Rap can talk shit to me. I'm thinking about getting another one. I want to get one of the throwbacks, number 22, either Paul Krause or Hitman. They offer both of them, so we'll see what I do there. But hey, guys, I just wanted to get some time in with you today to give our thoughts about the game. I recorded my game thoughts um, after like at 1:30 last night, so that video is still up. I any last thoughts I have about this is big winners: Luigi Villain, uh, Pace, Jordan Addison just reassured us who he was. I think Ward making a big play. I forget Tom. Is it Thomas on that special teams tackle was pretty. He stood out there. Uh, N'Keal Harris. Let's see if he learns the playbook. Get some more time. Who knows? Maybe we got a good find there. He's just not. He doesn't get open, but he's a big body, can jump. He's got a 38-inch vertical. That back shoulder fade looked awesome. He played it perfectly. Good things there. I feel comfortable with our backup quarterback. Again, Blake Brandel stood out to me. I'm going to reassure myself and go look at the tape again. There, other than that, everybody played kind of if I'm missing somebody, tell me. You need a Cousins? Yeah, I decided to just go and get the Cousins jersey because everybody's calling me a Cousins stan, so a Kirk stan, so no problem. Oh well, hey, his wife's got one. Skulls Soup, you know that his wife could bought any jersey. She bought an away Cousins jersey, so a white Cousins jersey. So I'm hoping to take a picture side by side with her at the game against the Buccaneers. Blackman, I think, yeah, you're right. Blackman won me over too. Good job, Skulls Soup. Uh, he's gonna have rookie mistakes, and he was kind of handsy in college. He drew a penalty. I think there was a longer play done on him, but he was always near it. He was always in the pocket of the receiver. I really like that. Yeah, for sure. Hey, Scott, thanks for showing up. Thanks for listening. Oh yeah, about Rap's wife. Yeah, she's got a Cousins jersey. He had to text me. Laugh. He was laughing when he told me. Whole team suspect except WWN safety group. Especially depth wise. WR maybe wide receiver group. Yeah, safety groups deep, wide receivers deep. I think running back is deep. Linebacker is making me feel a little bit better now. I think your guys are gonna be okay with Murphy and Evans starting and Blackman playing nickel. But the depth there is we have Booth continues to screw up like that. And then Williamson, was it Williams his name? Yeah, Joan Williams. Those guys, if they can't step up, then depth's a problem. I'm not too worried about special teams. It seems like we played pretty decent there. Wright didn't punt very well. I hope he figures that out. A guy that impressed me was Greg Joseph. Great kick, 54-yarder. He kind of hooked it in a little bit. He didn't slice it. That's usually when he misses, it's usually slicing to the right. So that was good that he had that. It was looking for like it was outside of the pole, but it just curved in. That's something we haven't seen before. So there's a lot of good things. A lot of good things. Kareem Hunt as a running back. Yeah, he's still out there. But geez, he's gonna want to play for someone who's gonna play him. And do I really want him over? And he's good. I agree with you. Do I really want him over a Ty Chandler? I may want him over a Kenny Nwangu. So the depth might be nice. But really, if I got Alexander Madison and Ty Chandler sharing carries, I'm cool with that. I'm cool with that. But Kareem Hunt would be nice for depth. Hey, Two Evil Hope, thanks for the $5, man. Super chat. Remember, I got a super chat, so every once in a while, I appreciate it. I'm gonna try to go live more often, solely and bringing guests on. Hi, Dave. Looks like our team will die by our O line health. Boo scene still busting. It's Yeah. I'm not throwing them out with the bathwater, like I said. They just didn't get a lot of playing time last year. They were both hurt. Didn't get to see the field at all. So, including preseason, Scene did get hurt in the London game, but he was not playing much in the preseason either, and neither was Booth. This is their first. This is their rookie year. I'm looking at it. Hopefully they figure it out. I'm hoping they figure it out. I understand why people are worried about them. They do have the athletic ability to play in this league. The experience will come, and hopefully that in turn lets them play fast. And they're both aggressive players. I don't think Lewisine had as bad a game as people thinking he has, because he did travel a lot of ground and made some plays. But having a Harrison Smith out there at the safety position helps the other guys. So if they're playing but beside Harrison Smith, it could look a lot different. Even Murphy talks about Harrison Smith being the leader of that team. He was interviewed on the sidelines. Yeah, hit N'Keal Harry, nice high point. Muse, yeah, that's something I didn't talk about. I thought Muse was going to end up with the most targets of anybody. We threw to Muse so many times, it was crazy. And that was a nice play. And that was a nice throw by Mullins. Great play. Great job by Muse. And he was enthusiastic. He may stick around, man. And he made it through the whole season on the practice squad. No one took him. Probably will be the same case this year. He may sit down there, might be a depth piece. But if a Johnny Munt does not, if Johnny Munt goes the other way and Muse steps in as our third tight end, I'm not feeling so bad about it now. I don't know how good of a blocker he is, though. That's the problem. A lot of chicks got good when you first walk in the bar. Meaning Young Nuts should look better first game. Yeah, Bucks. Sorry, Young Nuts, Young Bucks. Yeah, I want them to. Everybody wants them to. Yeah, there's players that are in the Hall of Fame right now that had bad first years, and there's guys that had great first years and became busts later. I'm not, me. I'm a little more optimistic and positive about it, guys. But I'm gonna agree with you. There's things to look at that. They need to work on it, man. They got to change it around. Still some confidence. Brian Flores is not going to take any shit. They said that he treats everybody the same. That means if you're a veteran or a rookie, he's going to tell you like it is. And if you can't play, or if you can't show it in practice, you can't show it in a game, you are not going to get playing time. And that's what I love about him. We're not going to put a guy out there that's not ready. And if that young guy can play over that veteran, so be it. If it's an older guy playing over a first round draft pick, a veteran playing over a first round draft pick, then here we go. Let's put him out there. I like that philosophy. Pretty happy with it. Still hoping for 15-2 or 2-15. None of this 8 or 9 win PS, dude. I don't think we're going to be 8 or 9. I think we're going to be up there. It's hard to go 15-2 in this league, man. I'll check what it is. I'm not sure, but now that you're talking about it, I wouldn't mind it. I want to see if they're going to be bad, man. I want to see if Jordan Love is going to be worth a crap. But hey, I appreciate it. I'll go look up the game and see if I can do it. But hey, that's it for me tonight, man. I did an hour. I'm going to go drive the not so rich and famous around. Need to make some money on the weekends so I can keep doing this instead of another second job. I appreciate it, man. Skull Vikings. I'll see you next time. I'm going to go live more often. solely by myself or with a guest. I appreciate you guys tuning in, man. Skull Vikes.